because like we were discussing with Alvaro, like behind the scenes, I am that old that I remember that JavaScript was useful to create pop-ups and those drop downs and things like this, and that's it. And right now, we will be showing that you can do 3D graphics using JS, and it's kind of mind blowing. And really, having a person like Alvaro, it's like a perfect choice because he is the creator of TresJS, which is a library for Vue that enables you to implement this whole 3D magic. And I'll be honest, I already saw quite a few of his demos from different screencasts and everything, and I was really blown away that it's JavaScript. It's the language that you were building pop-ups with. And
Correctly.
what happened? Yeah. What happened along the way? Yeah. Did I miss something? Oh, and of course, you are working as a developer relation engineer at Storyblok, which is a very cool headless CMS if you didn't use it. So I know.
Thank you for having me today. So hi everyone, Alvaro, front-end developer from. I always say 8 years. I have been saying 8 years from the last 5, so around 10 years of experience in web. And until like 2 years ago, 1 year ago, is I started to experiment with 3D in the web because I always thought that 3D, especially like creating 3D scenes, was for really smart people. Uh, because I mean,
I still think like this.
No. Everyone can do it. Like if I could do it. No, but jokes apart, like I came up. I always liked video games. Like I grew up in the golden era where a lot of the games were passed to 3D. So like the PlayStation 1 was my favorite toy, and Crash Bandicoot, Metal Gear Solid, like all those kind of games. That in that time, I remember you look at the graphics and you thought like, oh, this is HD graphics. Nowadays, you see the graphics of that time, and they were terrible, like polygons. But
yes,
like I wanted to actually study game development and character modeling and so on, but I ended up like working as a front end developer. I'm actually telecommunications engineer, but I never actually did my job. Let's say like front end development was my way to mix creativity with code, and it was paying my bills with WordPress.
Yeah, we kind of also had this discussion. We started it that I already had so many guests that their adventure at some point started with WordPress, or WordPress motivated them in some way to create their product. So I think that many people don't even understand how enormous impact that WordPress has on the web. Sometimes it made so many people that mad that they were so motivated to create something better, something else.
Well, that's true. Like that's where, for example, where I work at, it's a CMS solution. It's a headless CMS, and we do a lot of cool projects. Because it's like nowadays with headless, like everything is so easy. Even like 3D. Like I'm trying to promote right now in the CMS world. Like headless allows you also to have assets like 3D objects, 3D models into your CMS workflow and create scrollytelling, product customization, all those kind of things. So I had to be honest, like I created TresJS the last year because to give the audience like a little bit a breakdown on the story of JavaScript and 3D, right? So this technology WebGL is available as an API that is available on the browser, and that allows you to compute and render 3D. Okay, then somebody created a library. Mr. Dube created a library that is 3JS, which is the core. Is like the most famous one, and it was a wrapper around WebGL to make it easy, because WebGL alone is quite complicated. Like it's like talking about assembler, okay? Like it's really machine low level.
Mhm.
And then he created this JavaScript library that allowed it to create it with JavaScript. So as you say, JavaScript wasn't only for dialogues anymore. You have a canvas in your website, and that canvas was drawing at 60 frames per second a scene with lights,
Mhm.
with materials, then loading objects that somebody created in a tree software, and that eventually continued growing, right? I met the 3GS community like 2 years ago, and I wanted to start doing something, and I found this Bruno Simon course that I always
Mhm.
recommend. It's called 3GS Journey, and I went to the page and I was like, no fucking way that this is done by JavaScript. Like, no way, this is something baked or a video or something. And no, it was completely coded in JavaScript. I decided to pay, like, take my money. I want to learn this. And I eventually did the whole thing. I learned a lot, like all the core stuff, how to do it with vanilla JavaScript. Then the next logical step was that I'm a Vue developer. Like I continuously work in open source with Vue and also Nux. And there was nothing really for Vue. There was there is an amazing library that is our inspiration, to be honest. That is called React Fiber for
Mhm.
React. The React community has worked on 3D way longer, and they have this amazing, like Cody and Paul has this amazing library. And I started working with it, but I'm not a React guy. Like I know React, I can program in React, but it's, I don't know, it never been my framework. Um,
Mhm.
so tried to make it work with Vue, and there was a library called Trois, yes, that make that initial step to create scenes with Vue, right?
Mhm.
The complexity of having this gap reduced between Vue.js, the framework, the language, with the code, with the components, and the 3JS libraries that you need to translate your components into instances of 3GS and then
Mhm.
render them, right? And also, reactivity is not good for rendering because you are rendering at 60 frames per second. Obviously, an object is more performant than something that is reactive. So,
Okay.
how do you use a reactive framework to create the scenes? So, that's what Reactive Fiber did so well with React. And this Trois library wasn't maintained that much. Like the last code update was like 2 years or 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and it was a manual wrapper. So they were manually creating all the instances as Vue components. Like incredible amount of work. I understand that they don't maintain anymore. I actually talked with the author, like thank him for creating something that inspired me to actually create Tres later. So there was this gap in the Vue community, and also the Vue community wasn't like doing any 3D. There were no pages with 3D, like not really. And I wanted to reduce that gap and handle the Vue community a easy way to create
Mhm.
3D with Vue components. And that's how we started, like 1 year ago. Like now in November, we are gonna have the first year anniversary of the
Oh,
library.
that's perfect. That's a really
Yeah.
nice. It's here already. I mean,
It's a year already. I can't believe it. Too much. Like it's finally stable. Finally, a lot of people is adopting it, which I'm really happy about it. People is creating stuff that I don't even know how to do, which is I think is the most amazing feeling in the world. Like they are creating games, they are creating VR, AR experiences.
I saw it lately. I saw it on Twitter because you shared something, and I was like, yeah, wow,
How?
how, like like this is the main question when you come. But how? Yeah, it's really incredible to see some of those things. It's wow.
No, to be honest, I'm having the time of my life right now because I'm really happy that now I have a team It's a small team. We are like four maintainers that heavily work on maintaining the ecosystem, because it's not only a library. You're gonna see now in the demo when I show.
Mhm.
We have the core package, but the idea is to have several packages, because 3D is really big. Like all the applications that you can do with 3D is a lot. And the developer experience is not that great when you use vanilla. That's something the Reactive Fiber or Treadle or the Angular one and the Tres try to tackle, like make it easier for developers to use 3D. So we also have another library that is full of abstractions like components and also composables that make your life easier, like
Okay.
reduce the amount of spaghetti code that you need to do. If you want to load a texture or you want to load a model, you have a composable that is asynchronous, and then it gives you the whole model graph, all those kind of stuff. So it's growing. Like they're creating right now. Today, I was writing the next update blog
Mhm.
post for the whole ecosystem. It's no longer like one package update. No, no, it's like updates in the whole ecosystem of packages. So
Wow.
it felt like weird, but it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, still, I think it's also kind of the problem that JavaScript for a long time had this reputation that it's slow.
Mm,
And when you think slow JavaScript plus 3D, which is also power consuming, it
mm.
sounds like a horrible connection. But let's be honest, the moment when we started uploading all those things to our graphic cards instead of the CPU, 3D shouldn't be a problem. And to
Now,
be honest, I
nowadays, in
remember that I think I remember that I played with TresJS for a moment, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm too stupid for it.
No, in the beginning it was more complicated because also the devices weren't handling. Like right now, afterwards I'm gonna share some links that you
Mhm.
can even see in your mobile, and they're gonna run smoothly. Like I have examples running on a 120 frames per second. Like it became really easy to work on it. Of course, you need to care of performance. Like it's something that needs you need to dispose objects, memory, materials that you save. Like you need to take care of some performance things. In the library, we take it from you, so you don't
Mhm.
have that many responsibility of taking care of the performance. We only ask you to not use reactivity to change the stuff, like really reactivity. If you're animating something,
Mhm.
and you're trying to change the props, it's gonna work, but it might bloat your performance because it's
Oh, I
not
can
built for
imagine.
that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll be honest, you made a great intro, and I'm already kind of fascinated to see how it looks like.
Should
So,
we share some screen to?
of course, let's do it.
Awesome. So this is brand new. Actually, you have the premise of something that we haven't launched yet. So, but I was trying to have it deployed, but I couldn't deploy it in Vercel today. So I need help from another person that is supporting me with this.
Mhm.
This is actually like a playground. It's similar to the Vue.js playground that you can actually create code in the browser, but for TresJS. So
Mhm.
this is gonna be amazing for us because I could share the link, and people can create their reproduction for an issue and put it on. If they create an issue on the repos, they can use this quick or to experiment stuff. And also make it easy to see it, because right now we're focusing only in the app.view. So for those that might not be familiar with Vue, you have a .view file extension. We create single file components that consist in the script where all your JavaScript is going to live with. And then you have the template, which is the HTML, and then a code block here, which is the style. So this is a single file component, right? And what the library gives you, and this is completely interactive, You can see it right now. Like we have the logo or the symbols of the logo. So a cone or something like a triangle, the cube, and the sphere, right?
Mhm.
And it's basically this code right here. So if you were looking at this in Vanilla 3GS, it was gonna be a long file. Okay, really complex. You need to create, take the canvas, then
Mhm.
create a WebGL renderer, pass the canvas, also add a lot of code for resizing the scene and render the scene whenever you're resizing. You can see that I can drop. This is at frames per second, like 60 frames per second. So this is being drawn 60 times every second that pass. Okay, so that's why we were talking about performance. Like it's something that it gets like video games, like how video games work, right?
Exactly.
And then we take care of all of that in the Tres Canvas component. Okay, this is the wrapper. It's like the one that provides the context to the whole thing. It's a
Mhm.
custom render. What is a custom render? Vue.js has a render that converts these stuff here that are not HTML. It's not syntactic
Mhm.
HTML. It's just basically components. It translated to virtual DOM, to DOM elements, okay? And it handles the reactivity, like if you pass props, all the fancy stuff about the frameworks is handled by the render. What we did was hacking that and create a secondary custom render, let's say. It uses the same API as the official one,
Mhm.
but instead of using the DOM, we're using the canvas, like the canvas, not the a scene graph. So in
Mhm.
3GS, you have a scene. The scene is what contains the camera, the objects, the lights, everything. Is called a scene. Okay. That scene has a graph. It has a lot of children, and you go like that. So instead of using nodes, we're using those instances from 3GS.
Mhm.
That make it really performant because we are using the native view, all the reactivity, all everything that Vue did, but instead of v nodes, we are using canvas element and the graph. So every time we create something here, for example, the tres mesh, a mesh is an object. This is like the structure. The structure is done by the geometry. So it accepts
Mhm.
two things: the geometry and the material. Okay. In this case,
Okay.
we pass them as a slots because it's a way that the parent will create this as an argument. And like this right here, for example, if I want to do it in plain 3GS, okay, I will need to
Mhm.
create a material first and say new mesh tune material, and then pass some parameters here, okay? And this is
Okay.
going to be imported from tree, okay? Then I
Mhm.
needed to create a geometry like this, and this is going to be new, and this geometry right here, cone geometry. And then I have to pass these parameters, which are like, okay, the dimensions of the geometry, right? So it's going to be like 1.5 and 3. Okay, and then you need to create the mesh. So const mesh equal, and then you create new mesh, and you pass the material, no, the geometry first, and then the material. And then if you have the scene, you need to do a scene, add, and then add the mesh. So all this code is to basically do it in 3S.
Mhm.
Okay. With TresJS, you only need to create the template and everything is handled. Like all the parameters that you want to pass the constructor are these prop call args, and it has the same like notation. If you go to the 3JS documentation, it's gonna be exactly the same. I don't know
Mhm.
if well, this one doesn't have the TypeScript, but if you're working with TypeScript in your local, here it says number, but originally it's gonna tell you like this is the width, this is the height, and everything. It's
Mhm.
gonna
I get
give
it.
you a
Yeah.
proper intelligence.
Perfect.
And you can even, for example, this kind of material that has a lot of properties, like, for example, is it visible or not? So here, like, I don't know if it's possible in playgrounds to add intelligence. I need to investigate. But when you're working with in your local host and you have TypeScript and you have everything enabled, it's gonna give you all the different props that you can use in that object. Let me know if I go too fast. Eh?
No, no, it's
So things that you can change here. We have a camera. So without a camera, you cannot see anything. It's a common mistake that people doesn't add the camera, so it's black. It's pitch black. Okay. So the first thing is to add a camera. Then you have transformations, which are like the position of the objects. These objects are scaled like this
Mhm.
because let me put a component that is called the access helper. The access helper is this little
Oh.
thing here that reminds you to university or a school because it tells you the axis, like the
Mhm.
y-axis, the zeta-axis on all the dimensions, right? So the order of the positions here, let's take the box as an example. The box is 1.5 in all the width, height, and depth, and is in just in the center of the scene. It's in the 0, 0, 0.
Mhm. Exactly.
If
Yeah.
I want to move it up, I need to move it up in the y-axis, right? So let's put like 2 here. Voila, it's moving. So
By
as
the way,
easy as that.
what unit is this?
Sorry?
What unit is this?
It's a unitless, actually. It's like a
Okay.
factor. It's one. And normally,
Okay.
when you're working with 3D modelers, they need to specify if there are millimeters or meters, the units.
Mhm.
But normally you do meters, because then if you want to do like half a meter, you do like 0.5. So it's easier.
Mhm. Okay.
But this is like 2 meters, let's say. But there are cases that I have worked with some designers that is not 2 meters, it's like 2 centimeters or something like that. Especially if you're working with really realistic objects, like objects that
Mhm.
resemble a 3D print or like a machinery actual product, and you want to create realistic version of it in 3D, then it's important to have the units.
Okay.
What other thing? Yeah, it's essentially you can change the colors. So, for example, here we're passing a dark color, but it also accept like a CSS color. So I can say no, it's fuchsia. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can pass like this, and you can pass RGB. Like it depends on you. I normally use hex colors because it's easier for me to remember. But also it's important that this live edit, like it's live editing. So every time we optimize it, that every time we do a change here, it dispose the previous object or dispose the previous material, so it saves memory because it can get load. But I have an idea. We can let's bring this to life because right now it's like really stiff. So I'm
Mhm.
just going to put it on the center again, and let's animate it, which is always the fun part, right?
Oh, of course.
So we were talking about reactivity, right? And how it's tricky to use reactivity whenever you're using this, because it's way more performant to change a normal object, right? So the way we do it is we actually do not a hack, but like we cheat. Okay. So let's use a composable that is called use render loop. The use render loop is a composable that is available on the core package, and it
Mhm.
has a method that is called onLoop. So this use under the hood the web API request animation frame. So what it's gonna tell you is every time the browser is gonna render something. Okay, it triggers every time the browser, like 60 frames per second. Okay, this is what it gives us the loop of the application. I actually miss here. Okay, so we're gonna use the on loop, and this is gonna return a fallback. Okay, and inside here we can animate stuff. But what a lot of people will do right now is say, okay, I'm gonna animate the cube, right? So I'm gonna probably say, I don't know, the rotation, and I'm gonna save it in a reactive variable here, like 0.0.0. I don't know how to type today. I'm really sorry. And this we need to import it from import. You know what's happening to me lately? That I depend so much on out imports and these fancy like import from these
I
fancy
know.
DX stuff that when I had to do it manually, I feel retarded. You know, like
I mean, let's be honest, we are always getting used to things that help us develop things very
develop
quickly,
things.
and when someone takes it away from us, it's like, what am I doing here?
When I work, I don't have any of these imports because they are out imported. So, but it's good. Like I like to use the imports whenever I'm showcasing Tres, to show people where it comes from, because it's important that they understand where the things are coming from, right?
Yeah, and it's like I like to tell, it's a bit less magical that way. I mean, magic and development are great ingredients for a total catastrophe in the long run.
It depends on the place. Like if I'm working on a project myself, or or I have a team that is already used to that kind of magic, and we have some onboarding of it, and so it makes your
Oh yeah,
life
that's true.
beautiful.
But in an open source project that everyone can use and everyone can contribute, yeah,
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
can end badly.
So to continue with the on loop thing, like what you probably will do is that you're gonna pass to the trace mesh another property called rotation, like this, and then pass the rotation and try to modify the rotation here to a different one, right? So rotation dot value, and then probably doing something like, I don't know, increasing the X or Y. This is gonna work, but it's gonna try to run, it's gonna modify this reactive variable that has a lot of watchers, like a system inside Vue, to react to the change. That is gonna blow the performance. You're not gonna notice because this is an easy example. But when you have complex scenes, performance is a must. Like
Mhm.
to tell you an idea, in video games, most of the lights are not real, because light and shadows are the most performant heavy operations in games. They are baked. So they basically bake an scene to textures, to 2D textures, and they put the textures on top of the models, resembling the lights and the shadows. So most of them are not real. To give you an idea, you remember that we were talking about 3GS Journey, right?
Yeah.
The course here. This is this is the page that I found that I say, hey, I want to be able to do this with JavaScript. This whole thing is baked, so there is no lights here. Everything, all the shadows are baked, and he teaches
Okay.
this in the course. So performance is quite important. What we
Yeah,
do
and
is
especially we have to remember
Mhm.
that those are very often web pages, and we will be viewing them not only on our uh, top computers, but also on mobiles and everything. Yeah, there
And
is a
not
difference if
everyone
you want
has
to.
access to devices that are powerful. A lot of
Exactly.
people, like most of the people, have devices that are more lower. Nowadays, it got better. Like most of the devices can handle.
But let's be honest, there is a difference in playing Witcher 3 and viewing a website. in
Correct.
theory, you are kind of prepared that if you want to play Witcher, you have to have good hardware. If you want to view a website, well,
Correct.
you should just open it.
Correct. The idea is to make it nowadays it's impressive that the quality. Yeah, you can get Witcher 3 or even more quality. Not Unreal, of course, but like a lot of good quality in realism in WebGL. But still, like the amount of performance decisions that you have in your code is important, and this one is one of them. But it's super easy to fix because we can use Vue for that. And that's when the whole two things come together so nicely. Vue has something that's called template ref, right? So the template ref, what it does is that you create a reactive variable like a ref here for the box, and then you pass it here as a ref. And this is gonna mount, like Vue is gonna mount everything, and then it's gonna give you a reference of the TresJS instance in this variable. So what we need to do is inside here, if we have the box ref, so if the value is no longer undefined, Vue already mounted it and give you the TresJS instance for the mesh, then we are gonna animate it. And that's a plain object. So that plain object, you can animate it as much as you want because it's super performant. So here we're going to say box ref value, and we're going to say position X. Well, we were going to do the rotation, right? It's more fun if we do the rotation. Now we need to put a value here, right? So I'm gonna do +1, but you see that's too fast, and we actually put the reference in the wrong one. Sorry.
Yeah, because you put it in the.
But it went crazy already. Like it's super. You see how fast it goes. Like
Yeah,
you need
it
to be
is.
careful. So I'm gonna move it to the correct one, which is the position here, and now you can see that it's actually moving, right? It's animating.
Yeah.
I can also do the same and say box ref, the value, and say rotation, theta axis, for example, and do the same. Right? Equal. Let's change the speed. Now we have a nice looking rotation. Pretty easy. Like only we need this code here and our object, right? This callback gives you two things: the elapsed time since you do it, since you create the loop, and also the delta between frames. And with this, you can animate your objects. So you don't need to use this because what happens if I use a hard-coded value here? If you have a device that performs way better, the speed is not going to be the same because it's going to do it double the velocity. So to avoid that change between devices, we use the delta calculation. So if I use delta here, you're going to see it's a smooth, perfect. And I can even use the elapsed without the plus because this value is really small, but the elapsed is the elapsed time since the animation began. So it's a cumulative. We can use the same. And these are the two ways that you can animate objects in Tree. And this is JavaScript. On JavaScript.
And this is JavaScript.
This is a canvas. Like, let me inspect it. More tools, developer tools. Here, let's go. Here is the canvas.
This is a canvas.
It's impressive. Like I fell in love with this technology because of that. Like it's so cool.
And I also want to say that it doesn't look scary at all.
That's the idea. That's the idea. Because I asked a lot of people, like, what is stopping you from learning 3D? And it's the same that I was stopped. It's for smart people. It's really complicated. Nowadays, you have all the tools to get started. Like you can learn.
Yeah, only you kind of only have a bit of imagination about how this 3D plane looks like and works, but that's it.
And it's playing around. It's like I just spend so many hours here, so many hours experimenting. Um, like then you can. The good thing about Tres is that you don't need to learn all the objects or all the components, or you don't need documentation for it. You just basically go to TresJS, the plain one, yes, the JavaScript library, and I don't know, look for. They changed the website. Where is the?
Maybe documentation or examples.
Oh, here. So let's say you want to add a grid helper, right? So this is the code for the grid helper in vanilla. Here you put a prefix and say grid helper. Yes. And then you see if they have here is size like arguments, so size and divisions. If you want to pass them, you can do it with this. That's it. You have a grid helper that simulates a floor, for example.
Easy.
You remember when I told you about that Threads is not just a package, it's an ecosystem, right?
Yeah, there are some plugins.
Like plugins, exactly. Like there are like abstractions that give you a better developer experience. So if I now would like to have a floor, because let's play with lights, right? We want to do some shadows and such. If I want to create a plane, I will need to do exactly like this. I will need to create a mesh, then add a plane geometry, then a material, and then like all this, right? We have in CentOS some predefined shapes, and one of them is a plane. So the plane is usually like this, like really simple. Okay. Oh, something that I don't know if it's possible though. I don't know. I don't know if we have Cientos completely imported in the playground. I need to check that. Maybe it will not work. Fail. Okay.
Happens.
Yeah, no, it's because it's the first time I haven't used this playground. Like thanks to Yael, he's the author of Pinso. It's a library in JavaScript. You should totally have it in your show. I'm gonna refer him.
Okay.
It's CSS in JavaScript is a library for a lot of frameworks, and he made the playground. I didn't know how to do this, so he sent me the playground, and I'm just testing it like today and yesterday. So let's do it manually, like the plane geometry. Um, let's see 0.0.0. Oops.
Okay, we're
What
back.
happened?
We got disconnected for a second. Okay, but
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're back.
All good.
Yeah.
So for some reason this is not refreshing though. Maybe that's why we didn't see the. It's not refreshing any change. Let's try again. It's a plain geometry with this material. No, it's no longer. It's completely stuck. Oh, you broke. Yeah, but completely like the events are not even working. Lol. Let's take another thing. Let's use Stacklets because I also have projects there. Um, no, but it's a overall thing of my browser is acting weird. Let me close it just in case. You can see the screen?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's try now. Like my computer is going a little bit slow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not reacting, not even this. I'm gonna stop. Not even. Come on. The browser is completely. My browser is not working. Like I'm trying to pause the share screen, and it's not clicking.
So you know what? I will try to kick the screen sharing out.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I can't. Okay. Oof, the browser is completely stuck. Let me refresh the browser now that I'm not sharing the screen to see if it works. The magic of life, right?
Yeah, of course. And I mean, yeah, things like this happen. I mean, it's nothing to worry about.
To be fair, when you're working with 3D, most of the time you're probably bloating the the performance of the browser, or getting stuck, or having a infinite loop, which happens a lot often that you will imagine. Okay, so
Yeah, and
now the browser.
while streaming, you're probably also using some extra things, and yeah, the CPU and the GPU are having quite a difficult time.
Now it's got better. Let's see if I can share it again. Well, I'm saving for a good computer, to be honest, like a desktop.
I mean, I invested in a
In a home
gaming
computer, right?
laptop because of those reasons, and it was totally worth it.
Yeah, no, I also do some 3D animation in Blender, and
So yeah, having a normal desktop
yeah.
with everything, it's a good idea.
Okay, since that now we're better again, so let's take the chance. This is more or less the same structure that we saw before, so we have a really similar demo. So let's try to do the plane thing, because maybe it wasn't the library broken, everything was not behaving, and that's it. So let's see if a plane from send. If I change the color, blue. Okay, so that's
Okay.
working. Okay, let's try to do the plane ourselves. So plane geometry and 0.0. And mesh tune material. Arcs. What arcs does have it? This 32 maybe? Okay, now we have something, but I don't like the color. Wait. Okay, that's more likely. So this is a plane, a huge plane, right? Maybe we can reduce it a little bit.
Okay.
10 maybe. The reason we have the plane in here in cientos is that it also rotated for you. So right now we will need to manually rotate it, which is a pain. That's why I created that specific component. And so rotation in the x-axis. We're going to use. But it's good for the representation. So matpy. No, matpy is too much. Between two. You see that this is fun to explain. You see that for one side you don't see it.
Yeah.
That's for performance. You need to tell it to the tune material to have the both sides if you want to render the both sides.
Okay.
I don't remember if it was side and you have double side or something like that. That's for performance. Like if we also like zoom in inside of geometry, you see that it's not render. That's for performance. Cool. So we have our mesh, and let's put it a little bit down. Okay. So now we have like a plane. Maybe it was too much. 3 maybe. No, don't reboot everything. Come on. Wrong button. Okay. Okay. Oof. Oof.
Yes,
We're back. Okay.
we're back. Yeah.
Um, right now I have it enabled. Okay, but when you want to work with shadows,
Mhm.
you need to manually set the canvas to enable shadows because it's a really expensive operation.
True.
And what you need to do is that you need to select first the light that you want to cast. So right now we have a light here, and you can see that all the
Hmm.
objects have a
Yes.
shadow here, and the light is coming from here. Um, this is this directional light that is here. Okay. What we can do is the plane that we just created. We can say, "Hey, receive shadow." And I don't remember if it was the material or the actual mesh. I think it's a mesh. And we need to tell the other objects to cast the shadow. So let's see if this works. Receive shadow is so it's broken like that. Receive shadow maybe is in the material. Oh, I broke something.
Yes, something.
So it's not there. The receive shadow. I don't remember even.
And
No,
but only
I broke
one.
something.
We
Undefined. I can
got
read
promise
undefined
reading
shadow.
shadow.
I'm doing something wrong. Let me check another example that I have because I think it's the moment of the day I'm completely dumb. Um, mm, no, projects. We had a realistic one.
Shaders. No.
Yeah, we also have support for shaders, and I'm doing some reproductions. Let me see if I have one for lighting. Maybe in the playground. Let's show the playground.
Yes.
Man, I don't know what is happening today with everything. Come on. That's not cool. I don't have any other. Well, this one has. Okay. Well, you can see
Okay,
the
we can see the shadow
here the
casted on
shadows.
the. Yeah.
So the way you do it is that you use receive. I don't know if it's receive a shadow. I'm probably writing it wrong. So
Mm,
it's something like shadow, cast shadow, and receive shadow. Oh,
okay, we got
I
it.
wrote it wrong. Sorry, my dyslexia.
Uh, oh right, I know how. And what's funny, this is the mistake I also make almost always when it comes to writing receive. So
Right? It's not
yeah,
only
because
me then.
I was sure you wrote it correctly. Yeah, the same. Yeah, so we can see it here.
Okay,
Uh,
now it's working. You have the light, and the light is going against the objects, and this object is casting a shadow here that you can see on the bottom. Of
mhm,
course, this looks really weird because it's really solid. So there are some things that you can pass to the directional light to make it smoother. A lot of
mhm,
props, like the bias, that's more like physics. So how much the blur, how much blur
mhm.
do you want, and so on. Since a lot of things are not working, let's try another one just to see. Maybe this one will work. We have another thing that is contact shadows that are
Okay.
fake shadows. Uh, let's see if it works. Come on, too good to be true. I had to check it. I don't know why things are not working today, but okay. Anyhow, if it is not working, please help us out with the reproduction and a bug. That's always helpful.
Oh yeah, yeah, because let's be honest, bugs happen. So
Yeah,
it's
no, no. Like let's be honest. Like we have a lot of bugs because it's not only Vue; it's also 3D, like
mm-hmm,
3D and 3GS. The contact shadow is this that I wanted to show, like here.
mm-hmm,
It creates like face shadows and create a transparent background, like a plane. So it
mm-hmm.
simulates like you have shadows there, which are not like you don't have any. It's simulated. So this is more performant than having lights, for example. And remember that we talked that people are creating
Oh,
cool stuff with the library.
wow.
I don't know how to do this.
And I'm also impressed with the numbers of frame per second. I mean, we are live streaming. You are getting uh, also an additional source from your camera and everything, and it's still 60 FPS solid. It's amazing.
That's a lot of people have asked me if doing this with Vue is performant or it should be only 3GS or like not using any other library. This is a show that you can create the stuff like this with Vue and it's
Yeah, I
performant.
mean, maybe in some like edge cases when like every percent of performance matters, like going. But let's be honest, in most cases, it's not a thing.
I
Wow.
have tried like really heavy particle systems. So this one, for example, let's see. We maybe have a broken thing. Oh no, I'm doing I'm using a deploy. Wait, I'm not using the actual playground. I didn't saw it. It was a
Oh
deploy
yes, it was.
from. Okay, that's why. Poof. Okay, this is a if you want to check the playground, it's
120 FPS.
playground.tresjs.org, and this one is a galaxy generator, so you can play with the radios and the different color like you can change. And we are doing this live completely, so we're changing the amount of particles, randomness, everything here, size of them in stream, and it's holding 120 frames per second more or less.
Exactly. Only the moment when you change something
It
for the
drops. It drops
it
because
drops,
it's calculating. Yeah.
but it's still far above 60 every time. So
No, but it's good.
yeah,
It's behaving because it's a lot of particles. If I
exactly.
add more, of course, it could drop, but it goes straight away to 120.
Amazing.
JavaScript, man. JavaScript and the browser.
JavaScript, yeah. Really
I
the
have a lot of like cool demos here. This is made by the community for Halloween. They created a shader for like a 3D object. Uh, a pumpkin. So I'm amazed with the things that people are building with the library.
and again 120 FPS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
this
Vue.
is with Vue. I mean, really, apart from how because in the end, really, it doesn't look that scary as I thought it is. Uh, but still, the performance part for me, at least, it's really mind blowing. It's really mind blowing because I mean, I play games, I see how it looks like. It's
I'm more patient with 3D in the web because I know the limitations. Like I'm more strict with video games and consoles because they have the hardware to do it, right?
Mhm.
But something that I'm really happy. I'm working with Berekia. He created this game dev newsletter, and he has a huge community of people using 3GS and also React Fiber and soon TresJS to build games, and they're building HTML games, and it's so cool. Like they have a lot of use cases and so on. It's so cool.
I, again, amazing. I mean, HTML games. It's like,
Who knows? Like in the future, we might have a lot of indie games only for the web, like playable in the browser. And
yeah,
also,
why
I
not?
see. Sorry.
I mean, we saw at some point in time how popular were Flash games.
Flash games, exactly.
So like the environment of playing in the browser, why not?
Reviving it with another technology, with actual
Exactly.
JavaScript.
Exactly, and without Unity and paying for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for example, right now, like I remember for VR and AR, I needed to learn Unity, and also it seems like I can use my own library for that, which I didn't know. So I'm trying to investigate like how can I enable the core or creating
Mhm.
another package just for XR and like virtual reality and augmented reality.
Oh my. Yeah, I mean, I really think that I got quite an inspiration what I will probably try to do first when I learn the basics of 3D
Okay,
and JavaScript. I will probably create a 3D pop-up to
a
kind
3D
of
pop.
a 3D pop-up just to go with the legacy of what JavaScript can do. How it will be kind of a beautiful circle of life, right? It's like
I have something for you. Wait. I think it's in the documentation. We haven't created the showcase yet. It's in the Cientos documentation, and the one that
mhm,
is the all the fanciness. Like we have a component that is called HTML, which allow you to
perfection.
add HTML inside of your scene by faking it, because we are projecting and using perspective and transformations to do it. But look at this; you're gonna love it. This is the actual documentation inside of a 3D model. Okay,
Wow.
if I can zoom, yes. And it's a working documentation. This is an iframe of the documentation itself.
Okay. Wow. Mind blown.
It's in the 3D object, so you can even use iframes inside.
Like I said, my head just is blown away. I mean, it's amazing.
If you want to try it out, or anyone in your audience want to try it out, let me know. We also have the Discord channel.
Mhm.
Let's share the links afterwards.
Of course.
So any help that you need to get started with, we have the community there that is going to help you. So don't feel overwhelmed. Like just jump there. We have a lot of like cool scenes that we're creating, and we have a showcase for the community to put their projects there. Um, Feel free to join.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it really doesn't look that scary. It doesn't really look that scary. So I really think that yeah, why not? Time for another hobby project.
Time for another one, right? Let me
Yeah.
stop sharing. Okay, now, cool, because it was getting slow again. Um,
Yeah. I must say that from all the episodes we already had, and we really shown already many guests show a lot of amazing things, but when it comes to the impressiveness, like yeah, showing a website inside of the 3D laptop in an iframe, yeah, that one you.
it set another bar, right?
Yes, yes. So I mean, for every other guest, if they want to kind of reach the height of the most mind-blowing example, they will not have an easy job anymore. Yeah,
Thank you
really.
for that. Thank you for that. And like, I'm really happy to share it with you, with your community as well. So let me know, like, if we can also do more stuff to showcase.
I mean, like right now, I really have to kind of think what next, because I'm already planning for the third season of the Code and Coffee Show. So probably I already have a good idea for
But
one
the next
episode.
time, I have an idea. The next time is a try on, so you need to try it.
Okay. So we
Challenge
have a great
yourself.
so we have a great idea for another episode in next season. But you know what? We forgot about one thing today, because it's the Code and Coffee Show, and we didn't talk about coffee.
Oh my god!
And it's kind of a tradition of this show. We start
Okay.
with it, but we jumped right straight into 3D. So you drink coffee, of course, right?
Yeah, I drink coffee mostly in the morning. Like I was a heavy. You imagine, like, no, I don't drink coffee. No, you have a 3D. Is that a 3D printed cup?
I mean, I got it. It's ceramic, so
Okay,
probably it's not 3D printed, but it looks like this
it
low
looks like it.
polygon.
Yeah.
It's great. I got it from my friend, who decided to buy me a coffee cup that will match the color of my bicycle.
That's a good detail.
Yes, that's and which coffee do you drink?
um, like right now, I have I think it's one from Spain, but I really like the Colombian coffee, and there is one from Ghana. Like last year, my girlfriend gave me for Christmas a coffee machine, like espresso coffee
Mhm.
machine, not capsules, like actual
Of course.
printing and everything. And she bought me like from all over the world, like different kind of beans, and we were like roasting them and then smashing them, like doing the whole process. I really miss that. Like I need to do it again, because right now I'm more in the comfortable zone. Like okay, I have my coffee, I prepare it quick, and that's it, no? But I want to get again into tasting more stuff. What's your favorite coffee?
I constantly mostly the Ethiopian coffee,
Okay.
because it's, for me, it's the most surprising one. You never know how it will taste like in the end, especially that only in Ethiopia the coffee grows like in the wild.
Hmm.
So you are never sure, and very often you can find those this a bit flowery taste in them.
Which is
It's a bit
difficult to
unique.
find in commercial ones. Yeah.
Oh, that's. I mean, every time my accountant, when, because in Poland, in theory, you can put your coffee purchases as a company expense,
Really?
which I did. Oh yes, you can.
We don't have that
Which
perk. We don't
uh,
have that.
and my accountant, every time when he see the invoice, when I bought myself some coffee, it's like really magic. You can go to a supermarket and buy it so cheaper. No, it's not the same. It's not the
It's
same.
not the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah. But when you mentioned Colombia, maybe it's not that near you, but in Malaga,
Mhm.
there is this amazing coffee place run by a couple. She's from Colombia, and her husband is from Belgium, but he went to
Okay.
Colombia to study at this coffee university or something like that.
Okay.
And when I asked, because I asked for a coffee, and of course I always want to kind of smell the beans uh, to see. So this is like the moment when at every coffee place someone recognized that, okay, this is the person who is more interested in coffee. So this
Yeah, yeah,
nice
no.
lady, she had a map, and he showed me, look, this is the exact place where this coffee is from, and this is the
Okay.
best coffee in the world. It's from Colombia. And she moved her finger like 2 centimeters right or left, and it was, and here I was born. So I was like, yeah, a true local patriot.
No, but that's really cool. Like, yeah, like Colombians had this amazing history with with coffee, and I have a lot of friends that are because I'm from Venezuela, so I'm
Mhm.
neighbor. I'm a neighbor. The coffee in Venezuela is good, but I like the Colombian one more.
Yeah, the Colombian one is really amazing, and if it gets a great roaster, I
Hmm.
still remember that. For example, because when my wife was pregnant and we were looking for a good decaf specialty
Okay.
coffee,
Hmm.
it's not easy. Most of them have this weird aftertaste, but there is one. There is one that was good. It was Gardelli, and it was based on Colombian beans, and it was really amazing.
Yeah, it
So
has like some of them that have a really strong, like you can find really strong, good but strong coffees there. Um, the ones in Africa depends on the place. They are more like aromatic or more like how you call
fruity, very often
it?
fruity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a different taste. Like at the beginning, I didn't like. I was only like, oh no, Colombian coffee, right? But then I started trying from other countries, and I was really surprised, like how different and good it is.
Mhm.
I
That's
also try
true.
the Turkish one, the one that is prepared in a different way, like the Turkish coffee. You know which
Oh,
one?
of course I know. I know. I know. I was I was quite surprised when I was in Athens, because
Ah,
at some
in
place
Athens.
in
Okay.
Athens you can sometimes find something called Greek coffee, and I'm asking, sorry, what is Greek coffee? It's Turkish coffee, but we call
It's
it Greek.
Turkish coffee. So, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like Greek
Yeah,
coffee.
yeah. I was also like, yeah, probably, yeah, but this is like the long history between the nations, and some parts it will be. Um, yeah, but when it comes to like different countries and different tastes, yeah, it's a huge difference. I was also very surprised because at some point I had a chance to try the because one place in Indonesia decided to grow robusta, but in a
Hmm.
kind of Arabica style. So because
Hmm.
in most cases you don't care about robusta coffee that much
Okay.
because it's robusta, and they know that because of the climate changes and everything,
Yeah.
the Arabica will become more and more expensive. So they decided to try what will happen if we'll take good care of robusta and we'll roast it like as a good coffee, not as a this worse one. And I
Okay.
was really surprised by the results. I was really surprised by the results. It tasted different, but if done well, it's also great.
I haven't tried. Like you're way more connoisseur than myself. Like I do like coffee. The thing is that I'm trying to reduce the amount of coffee in the afternoon because I'm a bad sleeper. So I'm trying to only in the morning because I enjoy the coffee. Like I enjoy the
Oh,
taste.
I
Like I
know.
really like it. And but that before, like I remember in the university and also working as a freelancer, WordPress times and those kind of things. Uh, 8 per day, 10
Oh
per
no,
day.
so much more than I mean. In my case, I get sleepy after drinking coffee. So
Really? No, I get like
no, not for me. I'm just like, okay, now I can go to sleep.
you're the kind of people that goes to a restaurant. It's really late, and it's like, no, I'm gonna take a coffee.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't sleep in a week if I do that.
Oh no, for me it would be like probably going back in the bus, and I would be already like,
I have a question because I'm seeing the hour, but before we wrap up, have you tried the one that is from the puma, like the cat, shit, basically?
I didn't. The coffee Luwak or something like this.
Had that
I
one.
didn't, mostly because I kind of learned that because in general the idea behind this is great because either you have people who know their stuff and know which beans to pick, or you have an animal that does it kind of for you.
And
So
knows
if
better.
if in wild, it was really a good mechanism. Sadly, people learned that this coffee is very expensive, so they started to make it with caged animals and kind of
Okay.
they
Okay.
started
Commercialize
stuff.
it and
Yeah,
okay.
so the element, I first of all, it's just horrible to do so because caged animals, just one big no. And on the other hand, the main element from the coffee point of view, it should be the fruits should be picked by the animal, the one that are good. And
Mhm.
people decided, yeah, we will stuff anything in you. And in
Okay.
theory,
So it's no longer like before. I
there are
remember.
some probably that are doing it the traditional way, but there are also
Okay.
a lot of those kind of, let's call it counterfeit coffee Novak and like kind of
Then I don't
lost.
want to try. Like I wanted to try it just to see like how different it is because at the end it's fermented with the bacteria. Like
Mhm.
to be honest, for people that think this is disgusting, we also have cheese with
Mold,
fungus. Like
mold,
so, how
yeah,
do you say it in English?
mold,
Mold, exactly.
yeah,
So we eat cheese with mold. Like what are we saying, right? But if it's how you're saying, then I don't want to try it.
yeah. That was sadly also the reason why I kind of got.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
because
fair.
like I said, in theory, the whole mechanism was really great and amazing. I know it's you picked up the beans from
Yeah, fun.
shit, but yeah, but still the whole mechanism. I mean, there are a lot of beans that are being processed with some fermentation methods and everything. So
It's the same as the stomach. Like it's some bacteria that are fermenting the beans.
exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. So it's not that much of a difference. I mean, okay, there is a huge difference. I'll be honest. But yeah, the way how sadly the way how we can be greedy just to earn money on yeah it's horrible and I just hope that at some point people will stop buying it and
We
they
should.
stop
We should just stop. Like if it's like that, stop buying it.
yeah exactly
Don't give them business. Like
yeah I must say that also the coffee part of this episode became very interesting and like a really good episode with it Alvaro I must say we really did
I'm
it
really glad that you invited me, man. I really wanted to do it. So I'm really thankful for that.
and it wasn't an easy episode to get running because we had so many problems along the way but
I'm really sorry about that.
oh
Sometimes
no
happens.
and later it was me so in general yeah it happens but honestly it was totally worth it
I'm really happy that you enjoy. I hope the audience also enjoyed the episode. And yeah, I'm available whenever you want to do another. Let's chat. And if you have any questions, just DM me.
Of course I will so to wrap up 3D in JS it's not that hard as you think.
Correct.
Everyone can do it. I even think that I'm also capable of doing something. So
Of course you are. Like you're gonna be surprised. Like try it out, and you will see.
and another thing, don't drink coffee Luwak because yeah, people are greedy and you
Colombian
just should
coffee. Go
yeah,
for Colombian coffee.
exactly. Or for Ethiopian, it's also good.
That's good.
And yeah, and wrapping this up, so Alvaro, thank you again for this amazing episode. Like we already said, we will be thinking about something in the next season because this topic has to continue.
Awesome.
Has to continue. And thank you everyone for watching. I hope that you also enjoyed it, and I hope that some of you are already downloading TresJS and testing stuff. So thanks everyone. Have a great day or night. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.